Sir,
Hello, everybody, and a very good morning to all of you. Welcome back to What's Good podcast. I am your host Maulik, and today we have a very special guest with us to give us an deep insight about land pollution and the outcomes related to it. Mr. Soham, I hope your day is going pretty well. Would you please like to introduce yourself to the audience?
a very good morning to Maulik and the audience listening. I am Soham Jagrit, the head of the Pollution Control Board, Gujarat, and I am really thankful to you for inviting me to the today's talk.
Thank you, Mr. Soham. We are also very lucky to have you in our today's talk. Today, we will be having discussions and deep insights of the types of pollution that is certainly noticeable and yet ignored, the land pollution. Land pollution, or also called as soil contamination, as a part of land degradation, is caused by the presence of xenobiotic chemicals and other alterations in the natural soil environment. Mr. Soham, would you please like to add something related to it?
You are absolutely right, Maulik. Soil degradation and the cake and the gases or chemicals released from the combination result into land pollution. Land pollution is a chief type or subtype of a pollution that has been increasing day by day, and the citizens of the citizens of India are not concerned about it.
Yes. So, what do you think, according to you, other than the citizens of India, are responsible for land pollution?
Land pollution is majorly caused by the overuse of chemical fertilizers, soil erosion caused by running water, and other pest control measures. This leads to loss of fertile land for agriculture, forest cover, fodder patches for grazing, etc. Also, individual activity, agricultural sectors, or improper disposal of waste are also the vital concerns of land pollution.
That was a really remarkable answer. Also, this leads to a very great and common question that are all the three types of pollution, namely land, water, and air. What would you like to say about this, Mr. Soham?
I get this question from a lot of people, and I think this is the perfect time to clear all the confusion that is created between the minds of people regarding pollution and its types. See, if we look in deeply, every type of pollution is interconnected and related to each other at a very large extent. For example, when industrial sectors releases waste and toxic chemicals and gases, it relates to land pollution, air pollution, and water pollution as well. So, in simple terms, everything is connected to each other directly or indirectly.
Okay, so now that we know what are the major and the minor causes of land pollution, let us shift to another discussion. Mr. Soham, what will be the effects and the outcomes of land pollution in the future if it remains in the same state as it is now?
If land pollution remains in the same state in which it is today, there will be really hazardous effects and outcomes in the near coming future. We will get water that isn't safe to drink, polluted oil, which leads to loss of fertile land for agriculture, climate change, which causes an onslaught of disastrous problems, including flash floods and irregular rainfall. There will be also endangerment and extinctions of species in wildlife, habitat shifting where some animals are forced to flee where they live in order to survive, an increase in wildfires due to polluted areas often becoming very dry, increased air pollution which burning waste contributes to in a very large extent.
I am very sad to hear about that people do not know these hazardous outcomes, and if they knew it, I think majority of the people will still ignore the pollution effect. That was really informative, Mr. Soham. I would also like to know that what are the preventions made by the government to stop the pollution and especially your functionality in these sectors.
Given the disastrous effects of land pollution, government and my team are taking pretend preventative measures to reduce its impact moving forward is crucial. Using fewer pesticides and chemicals in agriculture, given that the use of pesticides and chemicals in farming and agriculture greatly contribute to land pollution. Finding alternatives will help to reduce the environmental impact. Farmers, for instance, can use natural ingredients by switching from biofertilizers to manure. On the individual level, supporting environmentally conscious local farmers at your closest farmers market or local grocery store can help to build up business for farmers with more sustainable farming practices. Another option is to contribute to volunteer in an urban garden in your neighborhood. Reforestation involves replanting an area with trees. This can be needed for areas that have experienced wildfires, for instance, or where trees had been chopped down and mined. This process helps to bind the soil, which helps to protect it from land pollution and prevent soil erosion and flooding. Another prevention then triple R's: recycle, reuse, reduce. There are many things we can do to reduce our contribution to land pollution. One of the simplest ways to do this is to reuse or recycle items so that you aren't creating waste out of a material or item that still has a purpose. With the growing awareness around what can be recycled and an increase in recycling bins in many cities, it has never been easier to recycle.
That was a remarkable answer, Mr. Soham. Very few NGOs and organizations like you are trying to prevent the pollution and trying to make a change in the world. Your efforts and actions are highly appreciated.
Thank you so much, Mr. Maulik. I would like to explain the situation with a case study. I think that India faced that changed land pollution to a very considerable amount. Earlier, India had perfectly normal pH levels of the soil and water, but with soil and water pollution, these values have all crashed down. Here are some of those values and observations that our team have recorded. Soil and critical environment where rock, air, and water interface. Consequently, they are subjected to a number of pollutants due to different anthropogenic activities, industrial, agricultural, transport, etc. The chemical composition of soil, particularly is metal content, in environmentally important because toxic metals because toxic metals concentration can reduce soil fertility, can increase input to food chain, which leads to accumulate toxic metals in foodstuffs, and ultimately can endanger human health. Because of its environmental significance, many many studies to determine risk caused by metal levels in soil on human health and forest system respectively.
Okay, I think that hearing from you about this, the case study was really impeccable to the government and major changes would definitely be planned for action to reduce land pollution. So, with that note, I, Maulik and Mr. Soham Jagrit would like to end the podcast and I really hope the audience would have deep insights and awareness about land pollution, its types, causes, preventions and solutions. It was a very precious time and an excellent time discussing with you about this matter. We look forward to have further talk with you in our podcast.
Thank you so much, Maulik. I also had a very good time talking with you, and I am very lucky and thankful that you invited me. Thank you, and see you again.
This is Maulik Ranadive and thank you for listening Pollution Campaign episodes of What's Good podcast. Signing off and have a good day ahead.